Good morning. It is Tuesday, so I'm calling this Good Gas Mondays, but I know what day of the week it is. We didn't get an opportunity to do it yesterday, and I really don't like to miss a week of contextualizing good, high quality, positive psychology to frame the week ahead. So all if we miss the Monday, right? Tuesday can be the new Monday. But yesterday was particularly difficult, so I really wasn't able to just kind of tune in and share in the usual space. So I'm apologizing. I did get the messages from some of you. I hope the persons who messaged actually catch this, because you would have been expecting me on the Monday and you might not have the phone in hand for Tuesday. So I'm just really hoping that you'll catch this, and I'll try my best to respond to everybody who messaged to say, check out this live. So good morning and welcome to Tuesday's edition of Good Gas Mondays. And if you're new to the platform, it's really where we take a moment to share positive ideas. When I say positive, it don't mean that we never talk about negative emotions, because we talk about those all the time. But it's positively framing those things so that they make sense and you can use them to your benefit. So instead of being stressed out by the things that aren't going well, the things that aren't going well can become good fuel or good gas for you as you move through the week. So I'm at 100, which means I can start. That's usually my hallmark. For those of you who've been like long-time followers of Good Gas Mondays, you'll know that I always have a challenge with my phone stand, right? It's like part of the personality of the show. I got it figured out last week though, but this week here we go again. So let's see if it can behave itself. Yeah. I saw a note that I have a first-time viewer from Japan. Hello. So I want to big up everybody that's able to connect with us in different time zones, especially. I know my peeps in like the UK always have a challenge, right? Especially when I'm late in the day, because it's late night for them. So I really just want to big up everybody who is able to tune in from right across the country, regardless of the internet connection, because we know so we don't have like the best Wi-Fi providers, right? What do I say? It's just like not perfect everywhere we go. So if you're in Jamaica and able to connect, big up yourself for tuning in and for giving me space and time to just pour into your spirit in a positive way. And if you're overseas and tuning in, special welcome to you. I hope there are no language barriers. But I'm happy to have you. Always happy to have people who give me time to share in a very good way with them. We need more of it, don't it? So what we're talking about today is really coming out of something that happened over the weekend. So a lot of you might have seen my post in my Insta stories about my mentee, Colleen. Now, she has published a book, and I have shared it several times, guys, with the swap-up link to buy it. It's called Your Success is 3 Questions Away. I've been working with Colleen for over a year now, and I say working with, right? Because we have been sharing lessons together. So while the initial plan was for me to mentor her, inevitably I've started to garner lessons from her own life experience as well. So it's like a two-way teaching-learning process where I'm teaching, I'm sharing, and I'm also learning. I have to figure out that this time. Guys, forgive me. Let me try again with the suction piece of it. Otherwise, it's just going to keep dropping down. Alright, I think we got it. I think so. Let's see with me. And I refuse to buy a new one, right? I just can't bother. Absolutely refuse. It's a little stubbornness that is just unreasonable. But I'm going to buy one next one. Right. So we started working together last year, and her business was being designed in line with what I was doing. So the understanding is that me no know the whole life, me still build mine, but let's do this thing together. Let's see what lessons I have learned in other spaces that can really help to power and inspire and mentor her on her journey. Now, fast forward to over 12 months later, Mamacita has published a book, right? And she got a fantastic write-up in the Gleaner's Outlook on Sunday. And in sharing that, I was reflecting on Twitter now, because, Instagram don't give me that functionality there. But on Twitter, just reflecting how I almost didn't accept it, because I thought in my mind, like, me not really know everything, like, oh, me gonna mentor somebody and me just not have the whole life together. And I thought it would be important to just share some of those reflections and ideas on Good Gas Mondays for anybody who might be going through those same mental processes where people are asking you, can you be my mentor? And you go, but I'm not rich, right? But I'm not pay the whole of my debt them yet. But I'm still a parent. But all this something them, right? I'm still struggling in my marriage. But I pick them a demon. I don't think I'm able to offer any kind of guidance and support to anybody because I don't have the perfect life results to present to you as a model for your life. And I just wanted to stop you like in your tracks because in my experience, right? And I can only tell you about my experience. You don't have to have the perfect plan that has been executed with all the great and grand results to be able to mentor somebody else. The idea of mentorship is, in my mind, an expression of compassion, like literally caring enough about somebody and how well they do that you will stop and give an eye to say, boy, I'm going to try this, I tried, it never worked away. I did send off some email like this and nobody never answer. So I would advise that you reword it in this way. Boy, I did plan my event, I did set it away and it never worked, so you do it a different way. I care enough about the well-being and success of somebody else that I would stop what I'm doing to say, I tried this. I see where you're going. How about you save yourself some of the stress we didn't go through by doing it a different way? So if you think mentorship is somehow about having perfect answers or all the answers to life's problems and challenges, you're wrong, right? Because guess what? There's nobody in the world who has all the answers to all the things. And there's nobody in the world who has a very perfect model of how you should go about being successful. I'm sure Steve Jobs would never advise anybody that they need to drop out of school in order to build a multi-million-dollar company, right? Your life takes you down a particular path, and in going down that path, you learn some lessons that you're able to pass on to other people. So yes, there's a way for you to build a multi-million-dollar company. No, I'm not advising that you drop out of school like I did in order to do it. So what are the lessons that you have learned that you think could really add value to somebody else's life? And if you can identify those lessons, go mentor somebody. Now, there are a couple elements to this idea of mentorship that I want to debunk because, one, we tend to think that mentors have to be strangers, like we don't know them. It's somebody way over, just, guys, work with me. At least me did tell you from the beginning, say, me and this fourth stand just is not friend. We were friends last week, but this week it's been difficult. Right, but there are a few elements to mentorship that I really do want to debunk because they prevent good people who have something that they could really offer in the space from really getting up and doing something that could benefit somebody else. And it would be very tragic if you have an opportunity to really share something with somebody meaningfully and impact their lives and direct their lives, and you do it because you think they have all the answers, right? So the first thing is the mentor doesn't have to be a stranger. The mentor doesn't have to be somebody far removed from your life experiences that you don't know, that's just somebody way over there that you admire. The mentor can't even be a friend where you have like somebody who actually in your life who is doing something in a way and in a manner that you would like to emulate. Or they might not even in the same field, but perhaps you're even in the same age range, which is another qualifier that we tend to use, that your mentor has to be older. The mentor can be somebody that you know. The mentor can be somebody near who you can feel and touch. And you shouldn't feel as though the stranger's input is more valuable than the input of somebody who actually knows you, who you are, what your socioeconomic conditions are, what kind of family background you're coming out of, the details of your life that a stranger certainly would not have access to before they say yes, they're going to mentor you. So don't look too far to find your mentor. That's the first thing. 2, don't bind yourself to the idea that your mentor has to be older than you, or if you're going to mentor, that the mentee has to be younger than you. Sometimes the mentor can be younger, or the mentor can be the same age as you. The idea of mentoring together, which means that both of us are mentoring each other and we're moving in the same direction together, we're starting at the same place and just trying to get to destinations, I think is undervalued and underplayed. And in a world where people, and we spoke about it last week, undergo so much isolation already, I don't want you to find another reason to not connect with people. Like say, boy, I like her now, I like him, but we're the same age, so them can't teach me nothing. Don't block your blessings like that. All right? Don't stress out yourself by trying to find older people who have their lives to deal with and may not be in a position to mentor you simply because they are too old, right? They probably don't feel like they connect with you, they don't speak your language, and they just don't have the bandwidth to take on another child because they raised 3 of their own. Why would you limit yourself to only getting that kind of mentor when there's an opportunity to be mentored by people who are even in your same age bracket? So that's an opportunity for you there, not to distance yourself from the opportunity because you think that the person is old enough to teach you something. There's an example that I use on Twitter to say, and just to simplify what mentorship really means. It's not this big production, right? If you struggled, and this is just an example, it doesn't have to always be a story of struggle, but if you struggled to finish high school, right, but you do it, you did hard, you never have shoes some of the days, you never have your book, you never have lunch money, all kind of stuff, you walk 10 miles, but you did it. To mentor somebody literally means finding a young man or a young woman who is about to drop out of school and allow your story of overcoming to propel them or to encourage them to stay the path. That's it. Your story don't need to come with you having a Benz or a house on the hill. It's not a requirement of mentorship. If you have it, there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't want you to not serve the needs of somebody else as a mentor because you think you're not rich enough, right? You're not successful enough. You're not shelly enough. So you don't want to talk to nobody because your story not glitzy and glamour. You can't say, well, no, I fly my private jet from my island in the Bahamas. No. You don't need that in order to have an impact on somebody's life. It just requires an authentic desire to help somebody else do well. If any of us are able to do that in our lifetime, it's an absolute blessing. And it can be as small as you talking to that youngster about not dropping out of school and understanding and identifying with some of the challenges that they have and how you, in your own unique way and under those similar circumstances, how you were able to make it over that hurdle and complete high school. And because of you, somebody will have 5, 6 subject when them could have 0 because them don't drop out, right? That is the nature and the lens that I want to put on mentorship, an eye for serving the needs of somebody else. And it can be in a small way to you, but you have to understand that what is small to you can be big to somebody else. So, one, don't tell yourself that your mentor has to be a stranger like an Oprah, right? You need one big boss or one big CEO or one big director of something or other over there so to be a mentor. There are people close enough to you who are doing exceptionally well, who you admire, and you know so you admire them, who could really serve your interests as a mentor, and as if you're looking for one. Additionally, don't allow the age factor to separate you from seeking mentorship from somebody else or from providing mentorship to somebody else. It's not a requirement that you have to be older in order to have something meaningful to share with somebody or some lessons to pass on. And then additionally, your story doesn't have to be one of grandeur, right? It can be a story based on excellence in your own small spaces. It can be a story about overcoming, whether it's overcoming abuse or financial struggle and stress or something as simple as bullying in high school. How did you deal with that? And who do you see struggling in a similar way that you can assist? And just ease the burden and ease the journey. But then the final thing I want to add to this is that mentorship is about bringing people together. In a world, again, and it's so amazing how the topics are tied in together, right? Remember I spoke about friendship last week and this epidemic of loneliness, even as we're so hyper-connected. Mentorship answers that need for connection. A lot of the times we have got through things and we think are we alone, like we're unique and special and God saved this particular crisis here for we physically and we did forget it. And it's not true. There is hardly any form of human suffering that is unique to one somebody, right? As bad as the suffering be, you can almost bet your last dollar so somebody else has got through it with you or somebody has gone through it before. So we're not as unique and special and ordained for suffering as we think we are. And what mentoring allows us to do is to connect with other people and share that journey of similarity. Understanding that you're not there by yourself and you're not going through it by yourself and you're not the worst man in the world will earn the worst bad blessing ever. Helps you to take off a lot of the anxiety off your shoulders and those unreasonable standards that you hold yourself to, like if you're married, you and your husband must never vex, right? If you're raised pitney, they must always jolly and happy and skip through the house and want to talk to you. Calm down, right? There are mothers who are going through similar struggles like you, where the kids are just indisciplined and you can't manage them. And you don't know what to do and you pray over them at church and rub the olive oil on them head and them still just behave like one demon in them. Does it mean that you are a bad and terrible parent and the worst that there ever was? What does it mean that you're the only parent going through this thing? No. So find a mother, right? Again, the person can be in your age range. It can be somebody that you know. And seek to have them mentor you in some way on parenting What lessons did they learn? What were their experiences? How did they struggle? And you'd be surprised to see how similar the experiences are. So similar that it's even happening with the same kind of gender at the same age. The kids are saying the same thing, like your pitness said that too. Yes, and we're going through it together, right? You're not alone, you're not unique in the suffering, and your struggle and your cross is not special. And I think that's a good thing about the world, is that there's really nothing new under the sun, not even the struggles and the strain that we go through. So mentorship allows you, as the mentor or the mentee, whichever side you stand on, to connect with another human being and remove that veneer of being lonely and isolated in the struggle that you're going through, or even in the experience of joy and success. You might think achieving something is particularly unique and earth-shattering and mind-boggling, and you can't understand how the world not clap for you, and your mentor says, well, this has been happening since 1985, right? You're actually not the first person, and we know a lady down the lane who did try the thing, and so that's why everybody not frightened over you. So it puts into context not even just your suffering, but even your success, and kind of bring you back down to earth. Again, you're not as special, as unique, and as stellar and exceptional as you would like to think. Our experiences are very, very similar. And the only thing that changes is the kind of energy and dynamic that you bring into that similar struggle or that similar experience with success. So temper your expectations of how your life is supposed to go, who you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to feel, and if you not feel that way, there's something wrong with you. And if you not go that way, there's something wrong with you. By using a mentor, right? Mentorship helps to temper a lot of the anxieties that come, because we feel like the whole thing unique and special when it's really not, okay? So what I'm offering to you is a challenge, because I like for giving weekly challenges. God know me really, I hope so, and take me up on them sometimes and give it a try, because it does offer a heightened sense of fulfillment as you go through these sorts of emotional, social, personal, relational tests to your character. So here's what I'm asking you to do. One, ask yourself, do I have anybody in close proximity, right? I have to send them an email. I have to take a plane for go over there. I have to go stalk them and beg them to take a meeting with me in order for me to ask them to be my mentor. Do you know somebody in close proximity who's doing something in an exceptional way that you really admire, and you believe that you could learn something from them? Either it is the way that they're doing it or the what that they're doing. You know somebody like that? Would you like them to mentor you? Go ask them. Go ask them. Ask them if they could allow their lives to be an example for you. Because maybe sometimes you use the word mentorship and it gets so heavy upon people, showing like, Jesus Christ, they're responsible for your success. Me can't take on that. Right? Suppose you're not successful. You're going to blame somebody to mentor you properly. So reframe even how you're going to ask. Ask if they can allow their lives to be a template for you to model, because that's really what you're asking for. You notice that there are female in the space of science and engineering, and you have a desire to go into engineering. You know, could they offer you an ear as you go through some of the questions that you might have and the anxieties and fears? When you start your degree, maybe you could contact them for the courses that you should do and the order that you should do them in, and potential areas for research. Ask them if their life can be a model for yours. That's your challenge. Go find a mentor. And the second part of it is find somebody who you can mentor, right? Because we can't want all the things and not try to do none of the things to serve other people. So as most of us are inclined to do, right? I'm sure I'm not going to push nobody if I go find a mentor, if I go ask somebody if they can help them with their success. Because we all want to receive great and grand things. But there's a law of receptivity and reciprocity in the universe. Just as you want to receive things as gifts from other people, so too must you be willing to give things. Because the best way to earn a blessing is to bless somebody else. Some people call it karma. I don't know, you can call it anything, but the best way to earn a blessing is to be a blessing to somebody else. So go find somebody who might well be in need of a mentor, You can start with your former high school. If you're still in high school, you can start with your former primary or prep school, right? If you're in the corporate space, you can walk downstairs, because if anybody then in one department will just look like you would connect, and maybe I can help them with something, right? Somebody who is reporting to you as a manager or supervisor, who you can offer mentorship to get to where you are, because look like on in a similar space. I'm sure if you go back to your high school and ask your principal, who can I mentor? Then probably have a 7, 8, 9, 10 name for you, because there's so many youth who need just a little direction. And the direction doesn't have to come from somebody whose life is perfect and pristine, else nobody wouldn't direct nobody, right? It only requires a genuine desire to see somebody else enjoy life and have a successful experience as they're journeying. That's all it requires. But you have to care about people. If you don't care about people, leave them alone, right? You're not going to serve as a very good mentor, because you're going to get all egotistical and caught up in your feelings and needing the mentee to do as you say, and it's not about you. And so you have to enter the space of mentorship, especially if you're serving as a mentor. See it as an element of service, and compassionate service at that. Not only do you want to help, but you really feel that your success and the other person's success are intimately tied together. And so just as how you would love for the best to happen to you, you would love for the best to happen for them too. So allow that positive emotion to connect you with somebody that you can serve. And you're not going to max out the community service hours and say, this year I spent 35 hours mentoring. You'll get so wrapped up in it that you don't even count. Like, I didn't even realize a year had passed since I had met and just started working with Colleen. It's interesting. And then my girl team just take off, right? Like, it just busted, but it just a shell, right? She was able to launch her book overseas. I think it was in Maryland. She has a clothing line. It's called Powerhouse Fashions. I don't want to spell it wrong, because it's a special spelling for it. So there's just so much going on in her life that I get so excited about. And it's not because I'm set to do it, because a lot of these things are in her spirit already, in her mind, and she probably just needs somebody to bounce the idea off of, to hear how it's gonna go. So I can't even take responsibility for it. And that's what makes it so fantastic, that even as I help, I am just an excited observer of how things are manifesting, because I might suggest a thing, I might recommend a thing, I might link you with somebody who could help you to get something done. But at the end of the day, if you don't do the work, there's no result. So all the results that my mentee is able to enjoy right now is because mentee at work, right? She get up and she do her thing, and she's committed to just every day designing life so that she gets the best and most fulfilling results. So I'm just excited to even be an observer, to be in proximity to this level of awesomeness. And I encourage it for every single human being. And I mean, the younger you are, the better. The last thing I want to share on this now, which is very interesting research, it's going to hurt people's feelings, and I just saw it come. Research has found that parents are not the best mentors for their children. Womp. Right. So here's what one research found about women, which I found it's tragic. So anyways, over a 17-year period, they're observing young women, and the question was asked to each of the ladies who they consider role models or mentors, and they listed one or two of these things. They either said it was their parents, or that they had a role model, some external person that they consider their role model. Could have been like a church sister, somebody who they saw on television, in the magazine, whatever it was. 17 years later, research found that persons who had identified their parents as their role models or their mentors had a 1% chance of doing anything successful in the world. It's bad, right? It's terrible. A 1% chance of doing anything exceptional in the world. Comparing that now to the other respondents, those who had identified either parents and an additional person, or just that outside person as their mentor or role model, their percentage point difference was 14. So there's a 14% difference between those who said their parents were their mentors versus having non-parental mentors. You do better when your mentors them and your parents. And so this last part now is for my parents who are here, yes, who are trying to be mentors and role models for their children. I'm not saying don't be a great example, but if we're going to follow the research and be honest here, and we've all been there as children of parents, yes, what your parents tells you to do, what your parent tells you to do, you usually see it as a form of coercion, right? It's not inspiring. It's not motivational. You're not like, oh, I'm just aspiring to follow what mommy and daddy say I must do. No, it's usually a point for rebellion. I was like, them only, like, why the mom do that? You know, they think they know it all. Oh, it's a different generation. Oh my God, they're so old and they don't know, right? So if you're trying to figure out why your children don't respond very well in terms of modeling and mimicking your behavior, calm down. Research shows that you don't want them to. You don't want them to try and be like you, right? Because inevitably what happens is, because they're so familiar with your behavior and the outcomes of your life, the conditions of your life, your temperament and everything, you've literally walked a path already. And so it requires no creativity from them to try and figure out how you did something, because them literally observe you and do it every single day. And so it requires no unique thought. It requires no uncertainty and risk-taking and particular bravery, because them sure say, mommy did it this way, and so if I did it this way, this is the result I'm going to get. So it doesn't inspire unique action and unique achievement. Versus having that outside person who is not a family member, and even if they're your friend, you don't know them like how you know your parents, right? You know exactly what time your parents get up, which part of the chicken them like, everything. You know everything. And so it doesn't leave any room for you to take risks and guess and assume and take a chance. With a stranger, it's different. Or with a non-parental figure, it's absolutely different, because you don't know everything. You don't dare to see everything. So even though you see their effort, and you might even see the effort and the result of the effort, all of what happens in the middle, you have to guess and design your own unique thing as the mentee or as the observer, as the child. So just bear that in mind. Don't get frustrated as to why your kids don't listen to you. Remember, we weren't always listening to our parents either. And sometimes that parental voice just kind of gets a little monotonous, and you're like, you're saying that because you have to say it. You're my parent. I'm not really gorgeous. I'm not really the smartest kid in school. Come on, mom. Come on, dad. I know different. So let's just be honest as we make that assessment. In the role of parents, when we expect our children to do as we say, or even do as we do and follow in our footsteps, research shows that you don't want that to happen. It reduces the likelihood that your child is going to do anything exceptional and earth-shattering. And we all want our kids to go do something unique and fantastic and just be known for something awesome. So expose them. The answer to that is to expose them to other figures, and those figures can be fictional. It can be Harry Potter, it can be Star Wars, it can be anybody. Just expose them to other examples of good character and high achievement, so they can decide how they want to set their bar as individuals going into the world. So I'm looking forward to seeing people email and message and DM me about finding mentors and finding mentees, and definitely committing to serving compassionately the needs of other people. It makes for a better society, and inevitably it makes you happy, very happy. And as I sign out, I want to say, unfortunately, I can't take on any more mentees. I do one at a time. That's my only rule. The only rule that I apply is one at a time, because I get so, involved and concerned and committed that it's hard to do it for more than one. And I think if I'm going to be of any use to one mentee, I have to really focus solely on that one person. So I just don't get distracted and exhausted very easily. So the thing had kind of stopped scrolling. It didn't update the messages, so now I have to scroll through and see what I missed, especially if there are any questions. I'm not seeing any questions, or maybe I'm missing them. Somebody said I'm in the closet watching and the ER busy. Hello, Nat. Thank you so much for tuning in on your shift. Oh, nice. Kira says her college mentor was younger than her, but that young lady was awesome. You see what I talk about? Thank you, Kenya. Bless up yourself. And you know what I wanted to add to? There's a potential for you to have virtual mentors. Oh, there are a lot of comments. I can't see all of them. I'm going to scroll to the bottom, the absolute bottom, and hopefully I'm able to see. You can like drop a new question down the bottom. So I'm at the bottom now. But So, right, so I do have to sign up. But let me see if I can grab 2 questions before I go. I saw one. Oh, no, it wasn't a question. All right, so I'm signing out. I will definitely save this one, guys. Don't worry. Fat face girl, may I tell you? May I tell you? Me just a person like them party and get fat because we hard for lose in the best place them. Yeah? But you can absolutely have virtual mentors, people who are online, who you find value in what they do and what they have to say, and you connect with their line of work and the way they work. You can do that online. Like you probably never even exchange words with them, right? But it's important that you find a way to identify the similarities and the key lessons that you can learn from those individuals who are virtual. Yeah, and make use of it. One of my virtual mentors is Brendan Bashard. I happen to have met him. I do some of his courses. But most of the things that I'm garnering from him really come from the digital space. So I make use of the internet while connect the whole away, right? Take care, everybody. Have a great Tuesday, and thank you for being so accommodating for the late good Guest Mondays. Yes? Love and blessings, guys. Take care.